What's up, Fabrication Nation? Welcome to the WeldTables.com website. My name is Kyle Voss from the Fab Forums, and well, I'm just a guy that makes YouTube videos. The plan is we're gonna assemble one of these bad boys in this video. So this thing is the DIY CertiFlat FabBrake from WeldTables.com, and this is basically your all-in-one heavy bending brake. So this is not a sheet metal brake. This is made to bend real thick suspension tabs, any kind of brackets you might have that are pretty thick. Anything really all the way up to 1/2 inch thick is what this thing's rated at. Should be able to get that stuff bent in pretty wide thicknesses as well. Now, of course, this one's already put together. We're gonna do another one. It should be pretty simple. Most of the stuff snaps together. Everything's all pre-cut, laser cut. Snap it all together. We'll put some tack welds on it, and then we'll finish weld everything. So when you get your kit, this is kind of what it's gonna come looking like. It's gonna be in a box. Like I said, all the pieces are gonna be pre-cut, pre-notched. And really, every component you got is gonna fit in that size box. Alright, so there's all the components there. I got them laid out. We're going to look over them real quick. And as you can see, this will be going together on one of WeldTables' CertiFlat WeldTables. Alright, let's break these parts up. As everything that WeldTables does, comes with a set of detailed instructions on how to put this bad boy together. Don't do what I do, just follow the directions, because that's the proper thing to do. If you follow the directions, you can't go wrong. At least I hope not. Wasn't nothing to that. Just fold those things over, tacked them a little bit. I actually used a little ratchet strap just to kind of hold it, kind of finesse it, caress it, just to get it to hold where I wanted it to be while I tacked it up. Everything's nice and flat. So now on to the next step. Cleaned everything up, hit it with a file, some of these little tiny burrs in there, and then just cleaned up some of these parts here. And when I say these things snap together, I mean that pretty literally. This piece just snaps on here like this. And then this piece here has these little notches in it, which line up with this slot in the top. So in a perfect world, pieces just fit together just like that. Presto. So I'll have to read the instructions, but I think right now, maybe we put a couple little tacks on this bad boy. Side plates are tacked in. These plates were just like the rest of it. So it's got these little notches. You kind of just snap that thing in there. Make sure that it's seated flush. Tack it in and move on to the next step. Next thing to go on are these side plates. It's really just like everything else. It's a tab and slot. It's got these little slots. Just go on these little tabs. Just like that. Like I said, make sure it's seated. Tack it in. Move to the next side. It's almost too easy. Making progress. So let's see what we got next. Next up is these front plates. Oh, we ran into our first little. So when I was actually laying this thing up, I noticed that it was a little bit wider at the bottom than it was the top. Figured I'd just fix it later on, and now it's later on. So it's a little bit wide. We're gonna have to squeeze this thing together. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bust out the old ratchet strap again, probably pull these together, get that thing to seat in there, put some tacks on there, and then we should be good to go. Well, it sits flat, so that's a good thing. Kind of lets me know that it's square. Now we're just going to release this thing. I got 12 good tacks on both sides. Hopefully it can release this. It doesn't fly all to pieces. I noticed in the instructions it does show them clamping it. So you can clamp it if you have a big clamp, or use a ratchet strap like I did. It's looking good already. That was what, like 4 steps? Bend these in, pop those in, give it a couple tacks, inner plates, outer plates, and then these 2 front and back pieces. And that's it. Now, according to the old instructions, I'm gonna make this piece, which is the actual brake itself. It's got some tabs for the jack to sit on. And then that looks like it's it as far as welding goes. Got these little guides to put in there, a couple bolts, springs, slide the rods in, and we'll be ready to bend something. All right, well that's it. Super easy to do. It was like what, 6-8 steps. I mean, really, they've got it so simple that you can't really go wrong. Just follow the instructions. I TIG welded everything. You don't necessarily have to do that. You can MIG weld this. As a matter of fact, I may regret TIG welding it once I gotta go back and fully weld everything. But that's usually how I roll. I don't have a hydraulic jack to go in here, so can't really end this video without showing you how it works. So we're gonna bend something. So like I said, this thing will bend up to 1/2 inch depending on the width. Everything's dependent on the width. Has 2 sets of rods in here. The smaller rods are for the thinner gauge stuff. As you start getting thicker or wider, you take the smaller rods out. You just use the bigger rods. There is a bend guide on the WeldTables site where you can go see what they recommend for each size. This is just some 3/16. It's really too thick to bend in a sheet metal brake. Perfect for a lightweight bend in this press brake. As a matter of fact, we can bend it long ways. See what it'll do. There you go, a nice crisp bend. It was actually probably a little too thick for these little rods. Probably should have took them out, but it just shows you what this thing can do. Well, there you go. That's how you put one of these fab brakes from WeldTables.com together. If you don't have one, I highly suggest you get one of those. as well as a welding table itself. It's good stuff. Now you have a dedicated press brake just to bend the thick stuff. Like I said, my name's Kyle Voss of the Fab Forums. I invite you to come follow me on the Fab Forums YouTube channel, where I just make stuff. All kinds of crazy stuff. You can go over there and see me use all my CertiFlat tools. Anyways, thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys over on the channel.